Welcome to another video. This is a short video to show you how to make money with lease options. Alright, so what is a lease option? A lease option is leasing or renting a property for a short amount of time for a period of time, and at the end of that time frame you're going to purchase the property at the price that you agreed upon. So how do you make money as an investor with a lease option? When you're wholesaling, you're going to come across maybe 90% of the leads of people that don't want to sell their property for 70 to 50% below the market value of that property. Some people are going to want full price for the property. You know, some properties you may find that don't need any kind of work at all, and the seller is not going to give you a discount on it. So what do you do with those leads? You don't throw those leads away. You save those leads. Most wholesalers throw those leads away because they don't have the lease option tool in their tool belt to use that. So what you can do if you ever come across a lead where somebody, where a seller isn't interested in selling their property for a discounted price, you can tell that seller, say, hey, I can give you the price that you wanted, but could you lease it to me for a few years and then buy it? I'll take care of all the maintenance, repairs. You won't have to be a landlord. You know, most of the time the sellers want to agree with that because sometimes they don't want to deal with a realtor. They don't want to deal with a property management company. They don't want to deal with renters. So if you can come in and position yourself as a perfect tenant, then a lot of sellers like that idea because, one, they're getting full price or the price that they're asking for the property, and also they're getting property management to where they won't have to worry about maintenance or repairs. And then at the end, they're selling their property without a realtor. So it's a great win for the seller themselves. So how do you make money as a investor using lease options? So if you do have a seller that agrees to do a lease option with you, you go out and then find a tenant buyer. Now, what is a tenant buyer? A tenant buyer is an individual that may have a few things on their credit that's kind of holding them back from getting a conventional home loan, or that's holding them back from getting a loan getting a loan to get a house. A lot of these people may have great jobs, they might have a lot of cash, but they have one or two things on their credit report that's holding them back. Some of these people also entrepreneurs, people that have small business. Business owners have to have at least 1 or 2, maybe 3 years showing how much money they've made to get approved for a loan to buy a house. So a lot of these people may be just starting with their business. They haven't generated any kind of they haven't generated years worth of showing income. So there's people like this everywhere. So you want to basically target these people. We call them tenant buyers. So once you have the lease option agreement with your seller, you want to negotiate the price. So the seller wants the full price for the property. Then of course you can't negotiate then, but you can still make money off of it. So let me show you the 3 ways that you can make money off of a lease option. The first way is what we call the option deposit. So with a lease option, you do have the option to buy the property at the end of the term that's agreed upon. So if you go 2 years and then at the end you decide not to buy the property, then you're not obligated to purchase the property. But once you put down that option deposit, which is usually 4 to 5% of the asking price, that's non-refundable. So if you have a tenant buyer that gives you the option deposit and then they down the line just leave the property or get up and leave, then that's fine. You keep that money and just go do it again. So the first way to get paid is the option deposit. That's the first way to get paid. Now, the second way to get paid is the cash flow, because remember, you're staying in between this deal the whole time all the way through. So the second way to get paid is the cash flow. So if you go to the seller and get an agreement to do a lease option. Now, the rents in that area may be $1,000 for a month for that area. You negotiate the rents to be $800. You say, hey, Mr. Seller, Mrs. and Mr. Seller, I'm taking on most of the maintenance and repairs and all, the management of the property. Could you do $800 a month? Could I give you $800 a month? Most of the times they agree to that. So if they do, now you just created a $200 a month cash flow for the length of the term of that lease option. So now you just got paid with the option deposit. Remember, 4 to 5% of the purchase price. Second way you got paid is the monthly cash flow. So now in this situation, you're making $200 a month extra. Now, the third way to get paid is the final purchase price. So the seller says they want $100,000. That's cool. We give them $100,000, but I'm going to mark it up at least 20%. And there's different ways to go about that. We can go more in depth with it, but I always like to stick with 20%. So, or either $10,000 to $15,000 if you want to look at it that way. So, just to keep the numbers simple, if the seller wants $100,000, you go to your tenant buyer and you sell it for $120,000. Now, why would somebody pay that much extra over the asking price? Is because you're giving them the opportunity to purchase this property, knowing that they have problems with their credit. You know, most banks are not going. No banks are not going to allow that. So you're giving them a premium service, so you can charge a little bit premium price for it. So if you have a property with the seller that wants to sell it for $100,000, you turn around and sell it to your tenant buyer for $120,000. Now you got paid with the option deposit. You get paid with your monthly cash flow of $200, and then at the end of the option period, at the lease period, if the tenant buyer decides to exercise their option, now you're getting paid another $15,000 to $20,000 on the back end, and that's the best way you can do these deals. I love lease options because you're always dealing with pretty houses. You don't have to worry about dealing with houses that need a ton of work, and it's kind of easier to negotiate these deals than getting somebody to give you 70 to 50% discount on their property. So by having a lease option in your belt, it's going to help you to capitalize on all your marketing dollars, on all your leads that come in. You now can work with other wholesalers that are throwing those leads away. You can get those leads now. And with the lease option, you can go on Zillow, for sale by owner, or if you're riding around and see a for rent sign or for sale by owner sign, just reach out to them and see if they'll be interested in doing a lease option with you. Because most of these people don't want to deal with the realtor. And if you can come in and add value to them and show you what you can do as an investor, it's easy to do these deals. So that's one thing I want you to think about, just about lease options, another tool to have in your belt. Another way you can make money with lease options too, you can do it as a wholesale also, and it's called a lease option assignment. So with this example, if you have a seller that's wanting to sell their property, they don't want to negotiate the rents, they don't want to negotiate the sale price, just give it to them. That's cool, but give it to them. Now you go to your tenant buyer and you tell them the sales price or whatever it is, let's say $120, the monthly rent is $1,000. And the option deposit is going to be $5,000. So now you just made $5,000 off that tenant buyer, and now you're out of the deal. You assign that deal to the tenant buyer, so now they deal directly with the seller. I like to stay in the middle with all my deals if I can. That gives me more control of everything. But it's always other ways to make money. You either assign the deal or stay in the middle. You make more money once you stay in the middle, though. But if you guys need help with this, it's easy, but it's ways that you need to learn how to negotiate these deals or how to go after these deals. So if you need help with that, you can just shoot me a message. You can send me a text message. My number is 706-604-6402, or I'll put my email up here also. You can send me an email, and then we can help you with these deals. But take advantage of lease options. That's another way that you can have. It's another way you can make money by being creative. Remember what I said, it's always about controlling the property, not owning it. So if you can get the control, you can make the money, all right?